Turns out OBS just kind of crashed on me before I could even go get some water and an apple. I guess I'm actually gonna be right back again. Hang on, my layout isn't working right. My alerts frame seems to be being rude. Okay, there we go. Anyway, for real this time, BRB. I'm gonna be right back, and I'm gonna do a get water and food, and hopefully OBS doesn't crash while I'm away this time. Fingers crossed. Okay. I got my apple. I got some water off frame. I gotta fix my layout a little bit. And I gotta make sure we are on the Minecraft capture. Mince rafts. There we go. I should probably tag this ASMR. Because there's gonna be crunches. We're gonna do auditory ASMR as a tag while I'm eating this freaking apple because I hungry. I'm very hungry. I'll probably include a timestamp in the description for a way to avoid these apple crunches. So, I have an auto fisher here. I found the design from Zuma Void on Sir. I'm gonna need you to get out of there. Come here. Thank you. Let's see what the Wandering Trader has for us. Do you have anything good? Hey, come back here. I want to trade with you, you scrub. White tulip, a white dye, a lily of the valley, some cyan dye, and some podzol. Nothing good. Well, you tried. So this is a server that a friend of mine is running, and we're just gonna go mine. That's what I have planned. 100% of what I have planned is... Oh, someone has a dog! Whose dog is this? I don't know whose dog this is, but it sure is a dog. I have some iron here somewhere. 36 iron. Perfect. And 14 gold. That's not the... No, it doesn't go in the food chest. It goes in the iron. It goes in the minerals chest. We're gonna make a pickaxe. I need some stick axes for that, though. Pickaxe. And then we're gonna use the rest of this stack to make torches, because you never know when you're gonna need just altogether too many torches, you know? Sometimes you just gotta make a patently absurd number of torches. It's just required sometimes. Look at all those sticks. We need a stack and a half of coal. Do we even have that much? Sort of. It's not the end of the world, though. We'll have all these torches, and I'm going to go get more coal anyway, so nobody can be grumbly bumpus with me. You know? And these sticks go in the wood chest. And then these torches go somewhere. I don't know where these torches go, actually. Would they go in here? We're putting the torches in here. All but one stack of them. Actually, we'll take 2 stacks of torches, because I'm going to be down there for a while. We need more food, but I'm eating only kelp for the eat only kelp achievement. Is the problem with that. We'll take half of this stack of cooked pork chops with us, in case we run out of kelp. I need a sword. Don't I? I need a sword. Come with me, sword. We'll leave this fishing rod in the fishing chest, because I don't want to lose it if we die. Speaking of needing a sword, this scrub is here. Wait, am I the only one on the server right now? I can just go sleep. Yeah, I'm the only one on the server right now. Why am I doing this? I can just sleep and get rid of the mobs. But this is just like a small personal server. A friend's friend put up because we wanted to play Minecraft together. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I was like, oh, I'm doing the only eat kelp challenge. Crunch on pork chop immediately. I don't think I can even get that achievement yet. Anyway, like you gotta unlock a bunch of other Shivos to get it. Hang on. When we get to the mine, we'll look. Can I just say I love the improved movement, like, with swimming? Like, that was the only reason I would have installed the improved movement mod for Minecraft. Like, crawling was never important to me. Or, like, the way it, like, was like, oh yeah, climb this ladder with this fancy ladder climb animation that you're never gonna see. I'm like, I don't care about that. The swimming is the update that needed to happen. I like how I dug a mine literally, like, feet from a cave. Anyway, let's look at the Chivos here a second. Options. Wait a minute. Advancements. There's an advancement. Yeah, I can't even get the kale advancement yet. Oh, dang. You can build crossbows now. That's sick as heck, actually. I didn't know that. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Galileo, Galileo Figaro. At some point I need to do Twitch Sings. It's just, like, the perfect game for what I do here. Like, I used to do choir, and I really miss singing. And I think maybe Twitch Sings is a good way to get away with that. I've been missing doing music, and I don't have enough music theory skill to, like, write music myself, and I don't know any instruments outside of my voice, so I can't do covers. At least not to a degree that I will feel is acceptable. You know? Did I not bring a bow? Am I a buffoon? I'm a buffoon. I'm a fool. I did not bring a bow. I feel underprepared. Ow! Ow! I'm on fire. Oh! That creeper's not gonna be a problem anymore. Stop walking into the lava. I'm a dummy. Yeah, it'll be fine. The lava's just hanging out there. It'll be fine. Definitely won't hurt me. Aha! Fool. Ah. Fall into the lava. Close enough. Anyway, we don't need an abundance of redstone. I love redstone contraptions, but we don't need an abundance of redstone. Like, I'm probably only going to mine redstone for levels. So if it's in, like, a kind of a precarious spot, I'm not about it. Really? Do you really? Do you really gotta? Dude? Must you? Ow. Yeah, I can't even get the kelp achievement yet. I have to, like, get 4 or 5 different achievements before it. So I might as well not go for the kelp achievement until I can get it. I really like that you can just dry kelp and, like, use it to cook more kelp and also eat the kelp. It's a really, like, great way to do, like, a vegetarian challenge type thing. I know I've definitely done server, like, multiplayer Minecraft on here before, but it's been in a state where, like, I'm much more well kitted. So this feels much more exploratory. I don't know, man. Minecraft is very popular for a reason. Like, it's not just because the kids like it, it's also because it's a genuinely good game. Like, you can debate all you like about the validity of a battle royale as a genre or whatever, which, like, it is a good concept. I will say that. I don't know that I've seen any battle royales that I have enjoyed to a great degree. Like, don't get me wrong, they're popular for a reason, and it's a really fun concept, but I don't think I've seen a lot of it done in a way that I find satisfactory. But I'm also not a very large subset of the gaming population. I like very specific types of video games. You know, I'm the type of person who loves that kind of like satisfying game loop type thing. You know, I will sit here and play Minecraft until my head explodes because it's a very satisfying loop to get into. You know, it's like, oh, we gotta get this thing to make these things, and then that thing to make this thing, and get this thing to make that thing, and this and this and that and that and this. You know, it's very satisfying, and the loop continues for a very long time, even longer if you start throwing in mods. Ow! Could you stop shooting me, please? Ow. You broke one of my armors. Hey, stop. 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 Cease your foolishness. Fall off the waterfall and go away. That skeleton's gonna be a problem for me later. I'm gonna be like running out of here like, oh man, I've only got like 3 health, but I got all these diamonds, man. And then that skeleton's gonna shoot me and I'm gonna be very upset. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That skeleton's gonna come back to bite me. Also, if you can tell, I have the accessibility captions on because I like to turn off a bunch of the sound elements of Minecraft and just use the accessibility captions because they're really good, and oftentimes I can quote unquote hear things about 1,000 times better with the accessibility captions than with my actual ears. So like, and you know, the more people that use the accessibility features, the more devs know that people are using accessibility features, so they're worth keeping. Like, I didn't even know there were accessibility captions in this game for a really long time. And, like, granted, Minecraft isn't, like, the world's most accessible video game or anything, but you can rebind all the controls. It's got a good caption system. And, like, you know, it's got a lot of language support, so you can read in many different languages. About the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that it wouldn't make it very accessible is, like, it doesn't have some kind of like ADR function for like blind people, maybe? Sometimes it's not the best about color blindness, I think. There's certain things that like, ow. You know, it relies on you telling colors apart, which is sometimes not the best design choice. Oh, dude, I saw the coolest thing the other day. Somebody, so as some people do, they build their own game engine, right? Well, this guy built the game engine, but as a included feature in his engine, he made it so you can apply color blindness filters. So, like, you can see as a person who can see typically, which is not the good way to put that, but you know what I mean. As a person without a type of color blindness, you can see that, ow, you can see the way a colorblinded person would see, because like this filter you drop over the screen lets you see, it renders the game in the way that a colorblind eye would, so then you can see, oh man, that doesn't make any sense with this color palette. You know, like, this color palette makes no sense, so I can't use it in an important location. Which is supremely useful, because, like, the way to do that without that type of filtering is find a colorblind tester, which is sometimes hard. Like, granted, colorblindness, like, because there are certain types of colorblindness that are pretty common, especially among men, like red-green colorblindness. That's really common among, like, men. But there's other types of colorblindness that are 0%, like a fraction of the population. And I know what you're thinking, oh, it's just a fraction of the population, just don't design around it. It's like, no. That's important. If you want... Games are an art form, and if you want your art to be enjoyed, make it capable of being enjoyed by the masses. That's part of my problem with theater, by the way, is they're all about the, like, oh no, you gotta pay many hundreds of dollars for a theater production. We're not gonna do the thing where you get to see an easily accessible film version of the stage play, but that's another story, and that's a thing that, like, people who actually know theater things have had much better discussions about. I'm sorry, I started stage whispering, I couldn't stop. But people who are theater people have had much more nuanced discussions about that, but my opinion about it boils down to, please, not every theater thing has to be recorded, but, like, the big stuff. You have the equipment, and usually by the time theater gets big, it's in the right area to have people who would know how to record it anyway. Just record the show. Like, you know it's gonna do well. If the show's popular, people are gonna buy copies. That's how it works. Like, people acquire things they enjoy, and it would make you money and stop the industry's rampant problems with bootlegging of shows. Like, it's really a no-brainer. I don't get why it's not done. But anyway, Local Man has opinions and should really not yell about them on the internet. But anyway, what was I saying before theater? Oh, accessibility. I just really like that this game engine, which I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was somebody in Half Coordinated's mentions on Twitter who has built this game engine with a debug function that lets you test for types of colorblindness. And I really like it. It's a good concept. Please continue to do that thing, please. What I would like to not continue to do that thing is that lava right up there. Hey, lava? Can we not? I don't lava what you're doing right now. I really don't. Oh, cool, my water is dead forever, and now I have no water. But what if I were to purchase fast food and disguise it as my own cooking? No, what if I were to come up here and get the water? Aha, perfect. Now that spider can see me too, so it's gonna be like, I'm a spider. Look at him. He's like, I'm a spider. You can see it in the way his face looks. I don't know, just like, especially when the way it is done is super neat, accessibility is a very interesting topic to me. Because, like, I'm the type of person who, video games are very broadly accessible to me. Like, you know, I'm relatively able-bodied. I'm cis, you know? It's pretty easy for me to get interested in a video game. I'm cis, I'm white, I'm able-bodied. It's pretty easy for me to be like, just pick up a game and go. But, like, for people who can't do the standard control schemes, or, like, people who are very rarely, if ever, represented in a character creator, you know, it's interesting to see how accessibility changes are applied. IMO. Like, how much accessibility changes need to be applied is a different debate entirely, and one I am not qualified to talk about and not comfortable talking about in a public forum. But the conceptualities of accessibility are really interesting to me. Like, how in the world does that color blindness filter work, as an example, on that engine? Like, is it in the rendering process? Does it render the game and then notice what colors have been rendered and change them? Like, how does that work? I want to know. Or like these accessibility captions. Like, is that just an addition to the what's the word I'm looking for? Is it just an addition to the sound production subroutine? Like, how does it work? It's cool. And like, captions are a great example of like accessibility changes sometimes like having really broad usefulness. Like, captions are ostensibly for people who can't use their ears to understand what's going on screen for whatever reason, but like, it's also really useful for people who like just wanna have captions in case you like get distracted and miss something that happens. Like, I don't have any functional need to leave captions on, but I do anyway, because they're nice, they're useful, and like, in this game in particular, they give me an edge, you know? It's like, I can tell, oh, there's water off to my right, where the heck is that skeleton making noise? Little things like that. What I'm saying is, accessibility is neat, and please put it more places, because it's interesting to see how it's done. And also, it's more useful than you think. It's not just gonna benefit the like 4 people you expect it to benefit. Like, as an example, a really flexible character creator, not only is that going to benefit like people who normally get left out of character creators, but it's also going to benefit like so many other audiences who are like, I want to make this weird character. You know, like a Monster Factory type approach to use the McElroys as an example. You know, like games with really flexible character creators, they're often picked up by content creators like, oh yeah, now I can use this to make Waluigi in Smash Bros. Or something. And it's really, it's cool, but it's also really great for accessibility, because then someone can be like, well, I never see this, like, if they have like, what's an easy one? Oh, I never see heterochromia in any character creators, but now that they have one, I can feel more represented, and it's great. You know, or like, oh man, I dye my hair an outlandish color, and it never comes up in character creators unless I'm playing an anime game. So like, now I can feel represented because I have an outlandish color of hair. And you know, there's other options there too, you know, that I'm not mentioning, obviously. But like, you know, it's just generally anyway, Local Man has had way too many opinions. The mass of opinions is growing, and if I go any longer, we're gonna reach critical mass, and I'm gonna have an opinion explosion in the comments, and it's not gonna be pretty. So I'm gonna stop talking about opinions and start talking about Minecraft. So Minecraft, it's a great game. Yeah, we just like just one of my friends was like, oh yeah, I wanted to play Minecraft with my sister, and she lives like all the way over there. Like, I was sitting there grinding for Bravely Second, because, by the way, I still haven't finished Bravely Second, because I'm stuck on a boss. So I was sitting there grinding, playing Bravely Second, because I had, you know, some time lying around, so I figured I might as well. And I'm sitting there, and someone messages me on Snapchat, and they're like, hey, dude, I was told to come ask you about, hang on, 1 second. Oh, there we go. Hey, dude, I was told to come ask you about this because you know things. What would I do to get a Minecraft server running for me and my sister, because I want to play this game? And I was like, well, are you guys on the same Wi-Fi network? And she went, no. And I'm like, well, you can't do a LAN server then. How far are you apart? And they explained. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna need to buy like a cheap Minecraft server. Just go to a cheap hoster and go for it. Like, unless you have a spare computer lying around, just just buy a hosting. Just hosting is not dreadfully expensive for someone of your means. Just buy it. Just buy a cheap server host. They went, okay, and they did. And then they went, hey, since you helped us put this together, do you want the IP? And I went, yeah. And I was like, hey, wait, can Raz join in? And they went, yeah, because it was Raz and I's mutual friend. So that's why we're here. And I'm playing by myself on a server, and it's really interesting because like I'll usually have the two of them on a Skype call, Raz and the friend who owns the server. I'll have the two of them on a Skype call, and they'll be talking about like, oh yeah, we used to play with these friends from high school, and I'm like, I have no idea who they are, because I play. Obviously, they're like halfway across the country from me. I played Minecraft in high school with a completely different set of people. Like I used to play on an Avatar of the Last Airbender modded server, which was really interesting. It's like a mod that gives you bending abilities, and like you pick a type of bending at the beginning when you spawn, and it's really fun actually. It's a really cool mod, and or plugin, I guess, since it's a server. I hope it still exists. I don't want to have to go back to like 1.8 when this plugin was first made. But anyway, it was a really like entertaining server, and like we all spent a lot of time on like community builds and stuff to like do avatar canon stuff. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is an air temple, and this is the fire temple, and this is the earth temple, etc., etc. And it was really fun. And that was with my my long distance running friends, because I ran on cross country in high school, and like it was the people from cross country and then a couple other people who like were friends with the people on the team, or like just like mutual acquaintances. Like you know how it is, like, oh man, can I play on this server? I heard you guys have been doing this, can I hop on? And I'm like, and whoever owns it's like, yeah man, go for it. Like, you know how it be. It's kind of like starting a D&D game. As a DM, you immediately have like 100 players who are like, I want to play the game. Problem. Where is the place I came in? Is it up there? Did I dig into this ravine? I don't remember how I got here. Ah, here we are. But yeah, like, that was a really fun server. I should dig up that plugin again. It's probably, like, super dead at this point. But it let you, if you were a waterbender, you could do what the Frostwalker enchantment does, or like you can make water flow over places, or like if you were a firebender, you could throw fire charges and stuff. It was really cool. And like airbender like let you get like multi jumps and like flying and stuff. It was a really fun server. And then after that, I think we went to a different person's server who they were running it out of their own home on their PC, and they had like several township mods and like a stats system kind of loosely based on D&D mod. Like you could fall to increase your agility, and then like you don't take fall damage anymore, like type stuff. It was a really good, that was also like a really good like pseudo vanilla server. That was the one I did the giant Savannah dome on. That was a lot of fun. Like that's what I tend to do on servers, is I just decide on a very large project and then do it. And then when I've completed the large project, I go, huh, well now what? And usually now what turns out to be nothing. But yeah, I don't know, man. Minecraft is great. And like doing it on a server is even more fun, just due to the sheer fact that you know, you don't have to quest so much. You don't have to quest so feverishly for every ounce of material. Like, some people can be, people can play to their strengths. People can play to their strengths very well. And so, like, I tend to mine a lot. I tend to do, like, I tend to pick up ice and build redstone farms and stuff. So, like, I'll fill that niche. Or, like, people who, like, do villagers or, like, travel a lot to find other biomes. They can, like, help or, like, if you're really good at building, you can, like, do that. And it's just really, like, it's nice to play with the community so you don't have to do all the heavy lifting yourself. Block broken? I'm concerned. Wamska, welcome to the igloo. Glad to have you. We are mincing some rafts. I'm crunching on an apple because I was playing Ring Fit before this. So, hopefully that doesn't make you vibrate into the floor. If it does, I apologize heartily, but you gotta eat something after you work out, or your body gets very upset. I would have done like a just chatting or mukbang, but I wanted to play Minecraft, so. I think if you eat more than like a snack, you're violating terms of service for picking the wrong category, but like, an apple's a snack, let's be real. Oh, we're in the process of building like a Victorian style home out there on this server. I need to cook some cobbled stones to get some smooth stone. Oh, glass. Nice, I forgot I left that in there. We'll put the glass in the soft building blocks. But welcome to the Igloo Wumska, if I didn't say that already. This is one of those newfangled space, cosmic, whatever, apples from Washington. I gotta say, they're not bad. I like Fuji a little better, but these definitely keep a lot longer. Like, I know they were kind of designed for that. You know, they were designed to, like, stay shelf stable for up to a year, I think, is the number. I don't know. As you can see, the house is in a state of uncompleteness right now. We need to add some windows on these big stone brick walls to decrease the prison-like strata of this. We're definitely going to need to finish. We need to finish these walls and finish the third floor, toss a roof on there. But I don't want to build too much without the other people who are on the server with me on. We decided to go with some concrete powder for color here. We went with pink because that was the most easily accessible color. Hang on, let me clean up this farm a little bit. Boop. I kind of want to build an automated farm at some point, but I didn't want to, like, rustle the person who built this as Jimmy's by immediately building an automatic farm. Plus, like, the auto farm design I have in mind really only works if you also have a way to get a lot of bone meal really quickly. So, like, until we find a dungeon which has a skeleton spawner, it's not really worth much. Ah, fiddlesticks. I didn't want to do that. So it's not the end of the world that I don't build that. Oh, that's kind of interesting. If you try and click on the seed, if you try and like plant something in untilled ground, now it just drops the seeds. Kind of nice. Oh, bees! I want to do bees on this server really badly. Because the bees are new, and I think it's really cool. I want to do the new thing that the new update gives you. I am definitely, when we get to the Nether and get some quartz for observers, I'm building an automated kelp farm. Because they're really handy and they're really easy to build as soon as you have observers. You just got to get the what's the word I'm looking for? Water current moving correctly. Which isn't abundantly difficult, but I have to look it up every time. Okay, but who made cobblestone stairs, though? I think there's some way to, like, automate getting berries, too. I don't know. Berries would be a really great food source if they didn't damage you like cacti do. IMO. Sorry, y'all get to look at the furnace while I slam this apple, because I hungry. I know this isn't abundantly interesting, unless you're like an ASMR person. You know what we're gonna do while we wait for this to finish cooking? We're gonna go stand in the auto fisher and automatically fish while we wait, because we might as well use our time efficiently here. I built this auto fisher. I got the design from Zuma Void. Controls. Right button is now grave because that's easy to hold down. Do I still have the... Ooh, I still have the AMA tag, too. Feel free to ask me anything, I guess. I mostly just use that AMA tag to encourage chat interaction. You can ask me anything at any time, but the tag just kind of clarifies that, I think. What did I do to my thumb there? I must have sliced it on something. I mean, it's not bad enough to be bleeding, but I have a little loose skin. That was a little gross. Me pondering my thumb in great detail. I'm not gonna lie, Wamska. I misread your name as Wamd Ska, like as in weapon of mass destruction Ska, which would have been a whole different thing. Oh, I guess we're technically pushing for affiliate, by the way. I just don't get the average viewership required. I think you gotta get 3 average viewers, which is a pretty low bar, which like points for Twitch. Having the bar so low, but like Oh, Barbed Wire 69. Thank you for following. Welcome to the Igloo. Glad to have you. Glad to have you here with us. But just like the last time I streamed without any regularity, everything but the average viewership here is high enough for actually the partner program, which is kind of hilarious. But I don't really mind. I don't really mind not meeting that bar. I'm not doing this professionally or anything, you know. I don't aim to do this professionally. I would get a lot better, you know. The money isn't good enough, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna do this for fun, and I'm gonna do this for fun only. I've seen in great detail the stress that professional streamers, professional video makers have to go through, and it's not worth it in my mind. I have a well-paying job. I'll do that for money. But I'm mostly pushing for affiliate and, by extension, partner, just for the sheer fact of it making my stream more fun. You know, it's fun to be able to be like, oh man, this person picked up their Twitch Prime sub and said, hey, you get it. And you get these emotes or whatever, and like, oh man, I can get bits, and I can have the loyalty functions enabled, which, by the way, the only loyalty function I'm enabling outside of, like, length of subscription badges is the, like, time watched doodle-doo, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the time watched doodle-doo thing yet, but, I'm thinking maybe, I might set up, like, an Internet of Things thing. We'll see. I don't know. That depends. That also depends entirely on my amount of programming oomph left after my day job. I don't know. I've had the concept of, like, stuff that can be, like, pinged from a website in the back of my head for a long time. I've seen it done by Mint Potion. The, like, Jake Kaufman's, like, music studio, and I loved the idea, and they had a timed, like, RPG looking interface online that you could then be like, hey, I boop this button and the lava lamp turn on or something, and I like that idea. And I would love to run it myself. We'll see if I ever get around to that, but essentially what would happen behind the scenes is it would be it'd be a little Raspberry Pi probably, or maybe an Arduino because it's better at automating things. But either way, it'd be sitting there listening to a specific REST API, and then the website would just fire REST API. What's the word I'm looking for? REST API requests to these endpoints, and based on it'd probably just be one endpoint, and then, like, the parameters of the endpoint would change based on what you wanted to do. And I'd wrap it all in, like, a cute little JavaFX game. Maybe do the sprites myself, maybe have a friend do the sprites, I'm not sure. But I'm talking too much to eat my apple. I've talked about this idea several times, and I have not gotten off the ground with it. And, like, I live in the middle of nowhere, so network security is not a concern. You know? I shouldn't say that, because that's painting a big old target on my IP address. But, you know what I mean. You know? Physical network security is not the end of the world, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So, if I'm bodging together Internet of Things stuff, as long as their openness to the public is very tightly controlled, I'm good. Then again, I don't know as much as I think I do about network type stuff, so I could leave a hole open. But anyway, I digress a great deal. We're playing Mince Raft. We're eating an apple. Alright, apple has been consumed. Look who's decided to join us. He said, and then the cat immediately decided not to join us. Hi, Library. This is Library. He's Baby. Okay. He's not exactly a fan of having just been picked up. Because usually I pick them up when they're naughty, so... You get comfy over there, Library. What are you doing? Yeah. No, I mean, if you want to come sit on my lap, you can. But also, I'm using my hands. You'd be better off getting comfy on the bed. He says, alright, Dad, whatever. But we got the cats off screen there. Let's fix my controls here and go back to what we were doing before. Which I don't quite remember what we were doing before, but that's fine. Hey, what are you scritching? What are you scritching? What are you scritching, Library? Okay. I'm just seeing if there's anything good in here. Ooh! Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 4. That's really good. Don't do that, Library. He wants to eat the laptop charger, but little does he know that's a terrible idea. I'm trying to fish up enough Nautilus shells for a conduit thing. Anyway, that's enough looking at chests and being boring. Let's go adventuring, shall we? We've given the stone ample time to finish cooking, and so now we can continue to build the unfinished portions of the wall there. Stone. Oh, you have to smelt it again to get smooth stone, don't you? Oh well, we can always go on an adventure while we wait. Oop, that's the wrong chest. Iron, gold. Okay, let's put this put dispenser here. Let's put the stone in the thing, and while it does its thing, we're gonna empty my inventory a little better. Foods. Library, I need you to not break things, bud. He says, Dad, I'm just sniffing the printer paper, and I'm like, yeah, I know. There's a lot of things on top of that printer paper, kitty. Isn't there? Oh, you're gonna look at me with your mouth open, huh? Just, I don't know what I did wrong, Dad. Off he goes to skulk somewhere. Did I build? I didn't build this. Whose is this? Oh, this is okay. This is what's happening. Somebody built a. Somebody on the server built a well for an infinite water source. That's a really cute building they put around it. Very nice. Anyway, let's wander around for a little bit. Somebody has the coordinates to this house, so it's no big. I mostly want to go find some kelp again, because I like to have kelp growing, because it's a really... I like to have some unbaked kelp, because it's very handy as an item. Unfortunately, kelp lives in oceans, and that's a good ways away from where we are. The heck? What are those trees on that mountain? Let's go find out. Are these acacia trees? Is that what acacia trees look like? I almost never see acacia trees. Ah, yes, these are acacia wood trees. I don't think I've ever... Oh! Zymertrax 2247, welcome to the igloo. Glad to have you here. You should be able to chat in about 10 minutes. That's a thing. I don't have any other rewards right now. We're pushing for affiliate so you can get more rewards, ideally. That's all I have in my brain, never mind. But welcome to the igloo, I'm very happy to have you. We're looking for kelp, because I didn't bring enough kelp. Because we had a starter house next to an ocean. I was like, sick, look at all this kelp I can get. And then I didn't bring any uncooked kelp with me, so now I'm kelpless. You got me kelpless. I don't know Hamilton well enough to keep riffing on this. Kelpless. But apologies if I'm a little out there. I did Ring Fit for like an hour before this. So I'm a little tired, little sleepy. I need a break. That's what I had that apple before for. I should probably change my tags because I'm not auditory ASMR anymore. I mean, I guess you could stretch and say like the tone of my voice. I'm sure somebody finds the tone of my voice satisfying. I'm not sure who, but they do probably. This would have been a lot faster if I'd have brought a boat and stuck to the river. But that's too easy, so we didn't do that. Because video games are hard sometimes. We're just kind of wandering around, seeing what we can see. Look at there, kelp. We've achieved a goal. Time to boop all this kelp. Excuse me, sir, boop. Excuse me, sir, boop. Hey, sir, boop. Give the kelp all the boops. Maybe occasionally some beeps, too. Picking up all this kelp. I was like, man, I really only need like one kelp. Too bad, I'm getting like a bunch of kelps. And ideally, once we get into the nether, which requires diamonds, or at least some cleverly placed lava, which, by the way, we have buckets. I could just do that. I could do that while everyone else is out and about, because everyone else on the server is out and about, doing things, being adults, being 2/3 of an adult and having college classes and assorted job things. So I could set up a nether portal and go into the nether while I wait for them. Probably a good idea. But first, I need to punch all this kelp. Boop 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 booping all this kelp. And Barbed Wire 69 says hello. Hi there. How are you doing? Are you having a good evening? Or whatever time of day your time zone is at right now? I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're good, and I'm having a good time other than being a little out there from Ring Fit. Pick up the kelp. Gonna just fill my entire inventory with kelp. Are you tired? I mean, it's a mood, man. Sometimes life is tiring. That's how it be. Oh, this is a funky visual effect. Oh, hey, I drowned. What's up, bud? Cease being in my vicinity, sir. I'm just trying to harvest kelp. I am but a simple kelp boy. There's a minecart rolling off to the left somewhere. I do love that items float now, by the way. Well, I had to wait. I had to wait 10 minutes, so let's hope this is fun. Yeah, I had to do that because I had some less than savory elements TM in my chat for a hot minute, and it was right at the end of a Ring Fit stream, so I couldn't like moderate. So, ow, I'm drowning. Stop that. Apologies for the waiting 10 minutes. Just hazards of the internet, you know. Some people are not with the whole family-friendly vibe, you know? Anyway, we have many stacks of kelp. Let's head back to the house. If we can find it. But yeah, I had a topic in my brain, and then it evaporated at my brain. Give me that topic back. Tabletop games. That's what it was. You ever heard of Monster? I know I can just grow kelp, but I wanted to get a bunch of it so I could grow more. Plus, you know, it's entertaining to wander around in a Minecraft world sometimes. Of course, now I'm like thoroughly lost. Which, not the end of the world. Sometimes you gotta get lost to find neat stuff. But yeah, there's pretty simple kelp farms out there. Ooh, stop shooting me. Don't do that. Hey, you missed. Thank you. They listened. I was like, hey. But tabletop games. Have you ever heard of Monster of the Week? I'm a big fan of Monster of the Week. It's a good game. People are all about Dungeons and Dragons, and they're like bolting things onto Dungeons and Dragons to get it to work with other genres. I'm like, you know, you could just use a system inspired by D&D that also uses the setting. Or like you can go the Powered by the Apocalypse route with Monster of the Week or a similar game and just completely bail on Dungeons and Dragons and just do 2d6 for everything. I don't know. I think each game has its own little niche to fulfill, and I think Dungeons and Dragons is the most popular for a reason, and not just because of how long it's been around, but also because of the quality of the system. You know, you can only imitate so much as far as picking up a D20 system. I don't know, I'm just glad we've... personally, I don't have the patience or the brain power for good old-fashioned chainmail style war games, so I'm glad to see D&D kind of, for lack of a better word, stepping away from its past there, you know. I know some people are very upset about it, you know, things being much more flavor text and not mechanical and not bits and pieces, but, like, it's not the end of the world. There's Pathfinder if you really love 3.5, you know. There's other systems. D&D does not have to be your be-all, end-all, which is something that a lot of people, I think, need to know. D&D is very good at what it does, and not what it doesn't. If you really want to play a very like miniature heavy and wargamey type game, I would aim for like a Warhammer 30k or something like that. Personally, you know, a system that saw something like that happening, but isn't quite so antiquated as early D&D. You know, it's very interesting to see Dungeons and Dragons evolve too. Like, see the differences between systems. Like, a great example is looking at older modules in comparison to newer modules. Like, a fantastic example of the difference in attitude of Dungeon Masters between early editions D&D and modern D&D is the Tomb of Horrors. Like, the Tomb of Horrors is an iconic module for a reason. It's a fantastic module if you're ascribing to the old D&D mindset of the Dungeon Master is wanting to kill the player's characters to win. You know, that's a very, like, comes from when D&D came out of a wargame supplement. You know, it's very designed to, like, well, I must beat the characters to win, when now the object of D&D is to tell a good story. IMO. You know, obviously there's a lot of rules piled up in D&D for the facilitation of fair storytelling, I think. And that's a good choice. But, you know, it's very different from vintage D&D, so to speak. You know, Tomb of Horrors very much screams, when I kill the players, I win. Or when the players have had enough of trying to solve my inextricable puzzles, I win. Which, that's not a bad mindset or anything. It just doesn't align with modern D&D. Plus, like, when you're looking to run something like Tomb of Horrors, which is, like, arguably the most iconic D&D module, like, everybody and their sister knows about it, it's a little hard to run without, you know, calling, like, there's no way you'd know that chest is a mimic, or there's no way you'd know that poison trap is there without metagaming. Because, like, you know, metagaming's the thing. And, like, as much as you try to avoid it as a player, like, I personally try to avoid it as much as possible. Like, I was in a Curse of Strahd game, and I've seen all of Curse of Strahd. I don't remember all of Curse of Strahd, but I've seen all of Curse of Strahd, and I remember the first third and the last third from watching it on the internet. And I was playing in a Curse of Strahd game, so I was like, well, I know what's happening, but my character has no idea, so I can't act on that. I'm like, oh yeah, I know who this dude is, the dude with the chimeras and stuff, but Milris doesn't know that, so I don't get to act on that knowledge. And honestly, like, I think, and this is kind of counterintuitive, I think spoiling the module can sometimes be more fun than just playing it straight. I think knowing what is intended to happen somewhere, and then having to act like you do not have that knowledge, and seeing how the DM handles certain situations described in the module is really entertaining. Especially if you have a really good DM. You know, it's very interesting to see, like, oh, how do they spin off the gray box text? How do they handle this encounter that was just basically like, here's this NPC, throw them at the party? How do they do X? How do they do Y? How do they do Z? It's really, it's almost more fun. In the same way that, like, contextless spoilers make seeing films much more... Oh, Ice Spikes. Sick as heck. I'm going to write down the coordinates for this one. It's the same way, in my mind, as seeing a film when you have had contextless spoilers thrown at you. Like, as an example, the meme of dust with... Hang on a second. I need my brain. The meme of the dust and how it interacts with Avengers Endgame. You know, like, you had no idea what was gonna happen unless you were given context and spoilers. You were like, what the heck does this mean? And so you were on the edge of your seat, like, what the heck does this mean? I need to know. Like, this clearly is a pivotal moment in the film where people wouldn't be spoiling it goofingly like this. What's going on? And I feel the same way about about like reading the module or getting module spoilers for D&D. Like, how is the DM gonna handle this? What's their take on this thing? Like with Curse of Strahd, for example, there's a lot of wiggle, or not Curse of Strahd because I haven't run Curse of Strahd. I've run Tomb of Annihilation. I injected a lot of side quests into that module because there's a lot of room for it. Like as soon as you walk into the Chultan jungle, like there's a lot of room for weirdness. Like you don't know. You can put practically anything there. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Ah, cool. Screenshot. Like, you can put anything in the Chultan jungle, honestly. It's so weird. So, like, even if my players know what's happening in the module Tomb of Annihilation, they don't know what I'm going to throw at them in the Chultan jungle. Like, I didn't even get to the main storyline quest. They, like, got sent to Chult and, like, were aware loosely of the main storyline quest. And then they just zoomed off to the jungle. I'm like, alright, let's go into the jungle. And, like, I sent them on a really long side quest that we never even got out of because the game ended. You know? It's just... people get really picky about spoilers. And, like, certain type... obviously, like, telling someone exactly what's going to happen in something is kind of rude. But, like, giving someone a rough idea and they're like, what? What? Like, giving someone a rough idea in such a way that it kind of makes no sense. You want to know what the heck's happening there. And so you go to the trouble of finding out what happens. It's really interesting. Or, like, you'll see, like, a set photo for a film. Like, I saw some of the set photos for Ready Player One, and I'm like, what? What is this? Why does this look like that? That's different from the book. What's going on? Why is it different from the book in this way? You know, because I looked into the set photos for Ready Player One because I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd, and I like to... occasion, you know, sometimes you don't have to read Sherlock Holmes. Sometimes you can just relax with some simple, easy to read, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Escapist, I think? Fiction? Yeah. Escapist is a good term here. So, like, and I really enjoyed Ready Player One because it's not Mozart or anything. It's not incredibly written, but it's entertaining. And it's not flawless either. Like, the choices to be emblematic of nerd culture are very clearly inspired by what the author knows. And, like, duh, of course. You're gonna put what you know in your book, especially if it's a book about, like, the concept of nerdery being useful in everyday life. Like, I can't fault the author for that. But, like, it's an obvious failing of the book. Like, there's a lot of good stuff about, like, the 80s in particular that Ernest Cline just glosses over because it wasn't something he was expected to know, so he didn't know it. I've gotten thoroughly lost, by the way. But, you know, not every book has to be Hemingway. Not every book has to be incredible perfect. Like, that was my thing with Ready Player One. People were like, oh, this book's so bad, don't read it. I'm like, yeah, it's not, like, a masterwork or anything, but it's entertaining, at least. You know, like, discuss its flaws without becoming entirely disillusioned. Zimmertracks2172. That's a very similar username to the last one. Welcome to the Igloo. Glad to have you. I'm assuming you both are either very close or, like, are in the same like gamer clan or something. I don't know. Thank you for the follow, though. That's very nice. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, books. And books don't need to be incredible. Like, not every book needs to be a perfect paragon of representation either. Like I just said, Ready Player One has a lot of holes. in things that were incredibly popular. It's not a perfect representation of like every 80s nostalgia kid brain picture, but it's good. Or like Six of Crows, for example. Like Six of Crows is pretty good about like inclusiveness, if you ask me. Like it has a very diverse cast, and like there's a lot of genre tropes that are subverted in the process, and it's really good, but obviously it's not perfect either. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. You know, not everyone's going to enjoy a heist fiction that's got like light fantasy going on. Like that's not everybody's vibe. Or like what's another book series that's like good but a lot of people like to talk down to it? I'm sure there's another one on my shelf here. Six of Crows. Sherlock Holmes. Like any adaptation of Sherlock Holmes ever is the perfect example of this doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be entertaining. Also, Sherlock Holmes as a whole, just like the original Sherlock Holmes, like some of them are not very good. And Arthur Conan Doyle hated writing Sherlock, by the way. He tried to kill him off, and people flipped out, and he went, well, fine. I guess I'll keep writing. Because he needed money. Nobody wanted to buy anything but Sherlock from him, so he kept writing Sherlock. I don't know, I just wish when people were discussing the failings of a piece of media that they did it in such a way that's like, you know, they kind of couched it somewhere in the statement. If they're making like a long-winded statement about it, I wish they would kind of couch it like, oh yeah, like it's good in these ways, and then also these ways are why it is bad, and please discuss with me about this. You know, be civilized, like, especially on the internet and in the age of self-publishing. Anybody can get a novel published, and anybody can see any criticism. Like, you gotta make it clear if you're bashing this because you really hated it, or you're picking it apart because you enjoy it and want to see how it could be improved. Like, there's definitely been cases where, you know, a lot of really good fan work has been written, just out of the sheer need to see something be better. Like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, someone sees XYZ as a failing, and they're like, oh, this is a failing in this work, and I think if I go about it this particular way in trying to fix it, then I can understand why it came out that way, or I can better understand my own writing, or something like that. Like, use it. Like, there's a lot of really good work done as, for lack of a better term, an exercise in improvement. Let's save these coordinates too. I really wish I could teleport, but I'm not opt on this server, and we don't have keep inventory on, so I can't just like die and lose all my stuff either. But anyway, I'm very passionate about media, can you tell? I think this argument most especially applies to video games. Like, people love to tear a video game to pieces, despite it being a good game. You know, like certain games, like, let's say, as an example, The Order 1866. It's not the best game in the world, obviously. It's not incredible. It sometimes falls short. So the first time this person teleported me somewhere, they forgot I didn't have creative mode, and they were like 100 blocks in the air. And so they dropped me onto the ground at like maximum speed. But anyway, like The Order 1886. Oh shoot, this hasn't been loaded this whole time. I'm stupid. We're gonna keep these 45 kelp in the organics chest, and then we're gonna cook the rest of this kelp. Oh, I should let them know I'm streaming. Okay, good. They were okay with it on Twitch. But that stone wasn't loaded this whole time. I forgot things unload in this game. Hang on, I have to type my HTTP twitch.tv Glacier Nestor. Where was I? Oh, the Order 1886. Can I ever finish a thought? The Order 1886. It was not like a masterwork of a game or anything, but it was good. It was an entertaining time. It was a little short, but it was short because it was built as a way to test a new style of graphics engine. And also, relatedly, I really wish they could have kept going and making more things with that graphics engine, because graphically that game was an absolute showstopper, and like mechanically the game wasn't bad either. It was just a little short, you know. It was overall a really good time. Like, and I played the better part of it myself. It's not a bad game, and it does not tell a bad story either. And like, as a story-based game, story is kind of paramount. So like, to see it tell a good story and look incredible, like jaw-dropping while it does it, is really satisfying. And I think that's something that a lot of the reviews left out. A lot of people really just wanted to punch this game in its face for looking so good but being so short, and having some trouble with difficulty scaling as well. Which, like, I can understand. That's kind of frustrating. Like, if you pay full price for a game, you kind of want a full price's worth of a game. Like, I get it. And like, but that also goes the other way. Like, I've seen some games that really should have charged more. Like, this should not have been a half-price budget game. It was too good. Yeah, that's a two-way street. But then, you know, you say, oh, you should charge more for this game, and then everybody who bought it at a lower price is like, no? What do you mean? Like, the artist should get paid. You know, it's hard enough to make money as a game dev, like, if your game doesn't take off. Or if you're just doing it casually, you know, it's hard enough. You should, you know, that we should kind of, like, as a community, so to speak, we should really, like, join together on, like, how much games should cost. You know, we need to have a discussion on that, about, like, oh, well, this game has X amount of length, so regardless of, you know, usefulness or... What hit me? Oh, a phantom. You know, regardless of... Oh, my goodness. No, I'm not dealing with this. We're going to bed. I'm not dealing with a phantom. That's not how this works. I know. But I think the gaming community at large needs to have a very serious discussion about, like, value of game, and also, like, the early access system. I think it's not without its merits. I will say that. It's a good concept. But also, then, sometimes people will abuse that. But that's all I'll say on that. I'm not gonna wade into that troublesome bog, so to speak. Do I have any of these? Are these spruce planks? Do we have any spruce planks, or do I need to go get spruce planks? I don't know. I've had my fair share of opinions this stream, and I've probably alienated some people in the process. Oops. I don't know. I'm just very passionate about the things I enjoy, and I want them to be well regarded. And sometimes that that entails some community discourse. TM. Doesn't help that the internet is a very difficult platform to have any form of civil conversation on. You know, the lack of what's the word I'm looking for here? The lack of tone in typing. Very much well, the lack of tone in typing and the difference in ways that overcoming said lack of tone is interpreted is very difficult on the internet, because like a lot of the time people will have very specific typing quirks, you know, based on where they have come up on the internet. Like as a rough example, somebody will do this for like a rhetorical situation in front of every return line if they've come from like 4chan or Reddit or a forum type environment, or if they've come from like an RP board, they might do this for an action, or they might do something like this for an action, like I used to, because they know that this means bold. You know, the difference, and if you're not from the same communities as a person, they may say things in a very different way than you're used to, and it may become troublesome when you misinterpret. Like, as a fantastic example here, uwu. Like this. Uwu. That has a lot of meaning to a lot of people, and it's a lot of different meanings too. People have very strong opinions about uwu, and it's changed context so many times. So like, and it changes context per person. You know, for some people, uwu is still kind of cutesy, still kind of, oh man, it's cute. For some people, uwu is completely overdone, and they hate it, and they never want to see it again, and they want to vibrate into the floor anytime anyone mentions uwu speak. And some people are just in the middle, like uwu. They're like, uwu itself is pretty harmless. I don't really mind. But like, if you're doing full uwu speak, you're being condescending or something, you know. And that makes that conceptually, the way things change. What's the word I'm looking for? The way things change. I don't know if phase is the right word there. But the way things change in their context, and the way that the context has become entirely amorphous because of the sheer number of differing communities on the internet, makes communication, especially between communities, very difficult. You know, so like some people, as an example, Reddit is very hostile towards Tumblr, and I think in no small part that's partially politics. There's no getting around that. But in no small part, that's also because a lot of the phrases and sayings from Tumblr and from Reddit besides have been misinterpreted on both sides quite a bit. You know, there's a lot of hostility between communities when they both they both use a phrase, but both use it in very, very different ways. I don't know. Just talking is hard, you know? Communication is hard. Talking is not hard. You can talk all day. You can talk all you want. You can blither and blather. And that's that. You can talk until you're blue in the face. Communicating something while you're talking until you're blue in the face, that's hard. That's difficult. That's a pain. Especially when you need someone to know what you mean. Oh no. Uh, so the friend I invited to the server, Razmatazik, is currently in an art class, and they're learning about the mess that is American copyright law. I have talked way too much about copyright law on this channel, and I am gonna shut up before I talk about it for like 3 hours. But it's a mess, I'll say that. Ooh. Oh, the dog is lit incorrectly. Look at him go. Yeah, we do need picks. There's a bunch of torches. Ooh, another fantastic example of like context and what's being said being different from what's intended is TF2 humor. A lot of people have there's a lot of people who still play TF2, and there's a lot of people who have very different ideas of what is okay and what is not okay to say in the video game. And so that very quickly evolves into a very specific brand of TF2 humor, shall we say, and sometimes it's very off-putting, especially to the average person. It's like, are you sure you want to say that racial slur, young man? Type thing. Or it's like, somebody will say something that if it's taken in a completely different context, it'll just be gross. We have no more iron? No? Hang on, I need armor. Boot. Family friendly stream, Elise. If you could. I need hat. Again, that's a really good point for my like context here. No worries. You've illustrated my point fantastically. Like, some people are just like, yeah, I say this thing, and then you don't like realize the context it'll be in, and so it comes across poorly in like a family friendly stream like this. But like, if we were just chilling with the stream off, that'd be no big deal to me. We're adults here, we can get a little blue in our language. But like, when there's a small child around, that's not very good. Like, you gotta, that's the word I was looking for earlier, code switching. Remember when I couldn't remember when I was trying to say phase, or when I said phase, I meant code switching. Code switching is very important, and the difference in the understanding of, for lack of a better term, the virtual environment on certain websites lead to a lot of different codes being used in a code switching type environment. So like, someone will be like doing some weird uwu RP under a very serious post about the world being on fire or something, and they think it's all good because the community they run in on their bubble of Twitter, they think that's hilarious and it's fine. But the average person's like, what are you doing and why are you doing it here? You know? Like, just certain things happen and I'm like, why are you doing this here? There's like an entire bubble over here you could do this in. Why don't you do it there? That's kind of how I feel about RP, actually. Because I used to do RP very, very frequently, actually. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I still enjoy it quite a bit. Like, there's a reason I like tabletop games. But, like, you gotta... I always felt really gross about people doing RP out in the public. Where the public, like, in a space where many other things happen on a website. Like, RPing on Facebook is the topic I'm on about. Like, I always felt really uncomfortable when people are, like, being fictional characters on Facebook. I'm like, that's not what Facebook's for. It always made me really uncomfortable. So I was like, can you go do this in an RP website, please? And people are like, well, I want RP anywhere. I'm like, okay, you do that. And then I let them do that, and I did my own darn RP on a website specifically for RP. There was a whole forum for it. That forum's super dead, by the way, now, which kind of sucks. There used to be really good, like, spaces for that, where it's like, there used to be really good spaces for, like, RP. There used to be good forums for it, and now they're kind of dead. Which kind of sucks, because it's like, well, now they have to do their weird RPs out in public where people can see them, instead of in their website where they can enjoy themselves and people who don't want to see it don't have to look. You know, because, like, heck, like I said, I am very much an enjoyer of RP. I just don't want to see it all the time. Like, if somebody as an example, if somebody started trying to run a D&D game in the comments of my video, I'd be very confused. I'm like, that's not the place for that. Sprint jumping, it's good for your zooms. It only consumes your food bar like crazy. Like, if somebody started trying to, like, run a D&D game in the comments of one of my YouTube videos, I'd be like, hey, I set up a Discord server for you guys so you can do this not in public, please. Or, like, not necessarily not in public, but, like, so you can do this in an environment that's more conducive to what you're doing here. You know, that's the phrase I should use, is it's more conducive. Like, Facebook isn't built for RP. Tumblr isn't built for RP. The way threads work in this game, like, the way threads work on these websites, it's not built for that. They don't... Hang on. I think they're lost. Hang on a second. I just evaporated, so I need to go back up there. You know, like, the websites aren't built for threads that are easily readable, easily jump to a single part of a bowl, like that thing, in comparison to, like, a website that's built for it. Like, oh, you are behind me? I don't see you at all. Oh, there you are. Hello there. Hello there. I should explain this mine setup for people who don't know what's going on. This is an efficient strip mine, because you see, when you mine out these two blocks in front of you, you see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and then you space them correctly, so you dig these tunnels to see what's in front of you. Aw, rip dog. Can we get some F's in the chat for dog? But I don't know. There's just, like, there are places already pre-built for that work very effectively for certain things. Oh, no. Un-F the dog. No more F's for the dog. The dog did not die. We're good. We're fine. No respects need to be paid. I don't know. It's hard to. Never mind. F's in. You know what? Let's just. Hello, sir. You don't live here. Hold up. Hold on. Hang on. Just wait a second. I gotta get my sword out. Wait. There we go. Just stop. Stop. Cease. I don't know. It's hard to recommend my opinion, like espouse my opinion as the best one when I'm well aware that a lot of the spaces that were really good for that type of thing don't exist anymore, and they're not gonna exist. Oh. Because, you know, you gotta get the clicks and get the clout and the advertising money. Okay, let's just assume that the dog and the horse and any entities that are this person's are good. Also, do you care if I say your name on stream? Is that a problem? Yes, no, maybe so? Because I'm only avoiding it because I haven't asked. But like another great example is TikTok. Like, people are making some really good, like, creative, original content that's like telling stories. The problem is TikTok's a really bad format for telling stories in. Like, unless you go to this specific person's profile and watch the videos in the order that hopefully they uploaded in the intended order, or you're really out of luck. You just have to sit there and scroll and be like, what's happening? Like, you see videos in a continuous tube, and you don't get to know. You don't get to pick what shows up to you unless you've activated the follow on that person. And sometimes you don't want to follow a person because their story content's so few and far between that you don't get what you want in your following feed. And you don't want to, like, bork up your customized recommendation algorithm by following them. It's like, there's been some really great stories told with, like, as an example, Harry Potter OCs on TikTok. Like, there's been some really good stories told. Like, people have seen that J.K. Rowling has a failing in representation despite trying their best. And so they say, well, despite what the author said, death of the author, I get to include this marginalized group as an example. And so they do, and they tell really good stories with it too. The problem is, and it's in a really difficult to enjoy format. So I'm sitting here like, wow, I really wish this was on a website that would make the content palatable for me. But also, like, it has such specific energy too. Like, it wouldn't survive on, like, YouTube because they're like 15-second videos. It wouldn't work there. People are struggling to tell a story despite the high limitations of the medium they have chosen. And there are better times and places, I think, even despite the victory in wrestling with the medium. But like I said, there's not, most people who start a website these days, they aren't just doing it for fun. They don't want to pay hosting costs. What was that? Did y'all hear that? Like, no, it wasn't like squelchy like that, but it was like, I don't know what that noise was. I don't like that noise. I've completely lost my train of thought. Media, websites, specialized websites that do specific types of content are getting fewer and farther between because people say, oh, well, what if I want to make this into a startup and make it my job? Well, if I make this for free first, nobody's going to want to do it. You know, there's a very specific type of intent in producing a website here and now. You know, the internet is less about, well, I did it because I could, and more about, I did this because I feel like I should, or I feel like I can occupy a niche that someone else hasn't. And it's very hard to make platforms now. You know, it's not 1998 anymore. You don't just throw together a forum for people to yell about things. Like, and there's so much that's like not available to the public, even though it's great stories being told too. Like, there's uncountable Discord servers with uncountably good, like, uncountably good D&D stories being told, as an example. And, like, sometimes some of that won't even be, you know, palatable to the average person. They don't want to know about Joe Schmo's human fighter and his human fighter friend who has another friend that's also a human fighter. It's a very personalized story. That's what I like about D&D. It lets you tell stories that sometimes you wouldn't get anywhere else. It's great. Can you tell I like tabletop games because they facilitate telling stories? It's true. There's lava. Ooh. There's water to our left here, so we should be bumping into a cave. See? And there's lava ahead of us. See, that's the blessing of these accessibility captions. I can tell where things are coming from. Because, like I mentioned during the Ring Fit stream, the right side of my body is often a lot worse than I give it credit for. And so I don't have very good three-dimensional sound perception, to put it in an overly ostentatious way. You know, there's a reason I used mono sound when it was still very often an option for a long time. It's because I didn't really notice a lot happening with stereo sound unless it's really obvious. Which I hope that doesn't come through in my videos too badly, by the way. Like, I hope everything on the right isn't... I hope to the average ear that works as intended, it's not, like, super right dominant. But that's what you get when you make your own stuff, you know? Sometimes you just kind of show off your own failings in the process. But, like... Oh yeah, stereo sound. I wouldn't have been able to... You know, I would have a very hard time telling, like, especially with how infrequent the sound is, like, how infrequent the lava pop comes up. I'm like, well, which direction is that coming from? I don't want to stand here and listen. But with the accessibility captions, I can see it's directly in front of me. Probably a good ways, but directly in front of me, nonetheless. And a similar thing with, like, movie captions or, like, TV captions. Sometimes the captioner, like, whoever's written the captions for a thing, they put, like, the title of a song in the captions, and I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know any music was playing here because it was being played really faintly. Second of all, that song sounds like a jam. I'm gonna look it up. You know? To loop back around to the beginning of the stream. Sometimes accessibility helps many more people than you expect. Oh. Hey guys, we found the lava. Guys, folks, everybody here, we found the lava. We found it. It's right here. Let's hope it doesn't kill me when I do this. Yeah, we're good. Nice. Now we got another cave to explore. Heck yeah. I think I might just upload the Minecraft stream separately from the The Ring Fit stream, just because, like, I don't know about you, but it's kind of awkward sometimes to, like, pause a video of a really prodigious length and then come back to it later. Like, don't get me wrong, I love watching, like, people stream VODs and they, like, stream for, like, 4 hours. That's a good time. But sometimes you gotta break it up. Like, you can't listen to that much at once. And it's sometimes hard to break it up to come back to something. Like, a good example is, like, Grapefruit. He does Peggle videos, right? And I'm like, I want to see the whole stream. Because he makes great noises. Because, you know, one makes great noises when you play Peggle. That's just tradition. But I don't want to watch 4 hours of Peggle all at once. I want to watch it in installments, so I don't have to watch 4 hours of Peggle for a billion years. Stop. Cease. Cease your foolishness, water. We good? Are we done? Thank you. Oh no. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Just gonna do one of these. Mistakes were made. I was like, yeah, I'm stopping the water. It's gonna be great. It was not great. Mistakes were made. What if I do... I just don't want to fall in the lava. Ooh, ooh. One of these, and then one of these, and then one of these, and then one of those, then one of those. How's that looking? We got a little less lava going on here. What's the vibe? What's the verdict? Less lava? I'm here for it. We good? We done? We done screaming? Oh, the doi tai lan no. One of these times I'm gonna offend somebody's grandma with that. You know, like I'm gonna stumble into an actual swear word and they're gonna be like, family friendly, they just said my mother was a hamster and I smell of elderberries or something. You know, something actually gross. Oh, I mean, it's theoretically possible. Language is a crazy thing. Like, if a language like English can exist, anything can. English is 4 languages in a trench coat, and you and I both know it, viewer, since you're listening to me speak English. Speaking of, if English is your second language, how did you do that? That sounds like so much work. What? Like, that's so much. I can't believe you've done that. That's a lot. I struggled with Spanish, which is, like, relatively well ordered in comparison to English. Like, how did you do English as your second language? My head would have exploded. I still have trouble grasping English, and it's my first language. Like, there's a reason there's a whole, like, competitive spelling thing. It's because English just adores its loanwords, and also loves to murder the heck out of the spelling of said loanwords. So our language kind of stops making sense when you try and type it. Which makes the prevalent... Well, I shouldn't say prevalent, because I am an English speaker, and I don't spend any time in Spanish-speaking portions of the internet. But, like, a lot of people assume English is the default language for the internet, which, like, makes it kind of hilarious because we're very bad. English is a very bad language when you type it, because it's not, like, strictly phonetic, you know? I think Japanese very much benefits from that, I think, because they have a whole different internet culture. Like, look at seeing some of the stuff from Nico Nico Duga, for example, which is essentially Japanese YouTube, or like the Japanese equivalent of YouTube, so I'm told. You know, like, they have a whole different culture over there, and, like, they get away with a lot they speak very differently, and like there's a lot of like there's a reason a lot of us have picked up certain emoticons from Japanese internet, because they get very flexible with their language despite the phonetic strictness, which is really fascinating, by the way. Like, think about repeated W's as laughing, or like any laughing, like onomatopoeic laughing, for that matter, is really interesting to me. Like, you just picked these letters because they sound like this in your language, and then it means laugh. And they go, yeah, what do you mean? Doesn't it mean laugh in your language? And I'm like, no, that's a bunch of W's. What the heck do you mean? Or like, ja 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 ja. Yeah, it sounds like that in English, but like in Spanish, because of the way they pronounce J's, it comes across as like, ha 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 ha. You know, it comes across as, I'm having a laugh at a good goof. It's just very. Can you tell I'm a big nerd for how languages differ from one another as well? Like, I don't have the patience for proper linguistics or anything, which is why I didn't make it my job. But it's a fun hobby, like being a little bit of an armchair linguist. And who knows, it might come in handy in like making a D&D game or something. Like, you know, ostensibly all the languages in your D&D campaign are all conlangs, and like you gotta know some linguistics to build conlangs, you know. Also, conlangs are fascinating, if you ask me. People are like, oh, they're not real languages. I'm like, yeah, they're not real languages, that's why they're cool. It's like someone has decided to, you know, they've taken usually inspiration from rules of existing languages and been like, I'm gonna borrow these and I'm gonna cram them into my own language, and I'm gonna build my own orthography and stuff, and it's gonna be cool. And like people who learn conlangs, I'm like, how do you do that? That's so much work. There's no like native speakers to pay attention to. Like people who, like, there's no native speaker of Klingon, for example. I'm like, that's cool. How did you sit there and learn Klingon? That sounds like so much work. Like, there's no immersion for Klingon. There's no immersion for Kryptonian. There's no immersion for, like, Elvish. There might actually be immersion for Elvish. I wouldn't put it past Tolkien people. What's the word? Most nerds? Yes. But, you know, like, people who sit down and learn conlangs fascinate me. Like, that's so much work. It's really cool when people do. Or like, what's it called? I learned about this from Artemis Fowl, and I can't remember what it's called. Eternity Code. When people con their own lang, they build their own language, and then they use said conlang to encode things, so they can like hide secrets and stuff. And since they're the only one that knows the conlang, nobody's gonna unencrypt your thing until they find your notes on your language. Like, nobody's gonna find your thing. It's cool. Language is neat. The world is neat. I want to learn everything. I've definitely talked about this to people I know, and they're probably sick of hearing it, but the internet probably is not sick of hearing it. But if I ever become immortal, I'm just going to learn every possible thing. Yes, even that thing you just thought of that's super obscure and difficult to learn. Like, if I have unlimited time on this earthly plane, I'm gonna learn every possible thing. I'm gonna experience every possible piece of media. I'm gonna start from the beginning of recorded media. I'm gonna learn the language I need for it, and then I'm gonna enjoy the media, and then I'm gonna repeat ad nauseum until I have caught up with all of recorded media. And then when I've done that, I'm going to set up a massive library in which people pay their entry fee by letting me double check that I don't have a copy of whatever they're carrying. And if I don't have a copy of whatever they're carrying, I'm going to experience their media so I can stay catched up. But the best part about that is then I have an incredible library of copies of pretty much every piece of media. So then I can sit down, once I've caught up with everything, I can sit down and enjoy a piece of media. Or if someone can't find said piece of media, I'm like, hey, I got it right here. Please enjoy this piece of media. You know? The internet on steroids, basically. The world's largest database. I'm sure this has also been done in, like, fiction in some way. Like, someone has had this idea. Someone has absolutely had this idea. There's no way. Where is the hole that we came in through here? It's in some of this granite looking stuff. And it's behind a water. It's behind a water, so we look in the water and we look for the granite, and we do not find it. But we do find that it's right next to a lava as well, isn't it? Because we came out, because we initially dug behind a lava and went, no, that's not okay. Is it right here? It is right here. Oh, my nose. My nose is grumping. Oh, we've been streaming for 2 hours. I kind of want to call it it's midnight. I need to call it a night. Oops, I forgot how time works for a second. Anyway, I've blithered about anything, everything, and then some today. But I hope you all enjoyed the Minecraft stream. Let me just get back to the house here. We'll thank all the new inductees into the igloo here. We got Wamska, Barbed Wire 69, Zemer Tracks 2247, and Zemer Tracks 2172. Glad to have you all in the igloo. Lots of follows today, so we're gonna have to cram some new rooms onto the igloo today, but today's been very, very pleasant, very productive. I've been very talkative, and Ring Fit today was very positive. Thank you for the encouragement, Green Rex. You did your best despite stream delay. Once I get back to the house, I'm gonna turn off the stream and probably go sleep. But like I said earlier, this is probably going to come up in 2 parts. The Ring Fit separately from the Minecraft, just because the game crashed. Or not the game, the OBS crashed in such a way that it kind of split it up for me anyway. But that's it, that's all. Let's see if we have anyone to drop the viewers upon. Because you never know. My phone has been very talkative, and I've not been paying attention to it. Anyway, I want to stop the recording here. I'll see you guys Wednesday for Ring Fit.